Alright, so back with another video. This time I'm going to be looking at and breaking down the videotapes, video recordings that were released of Britney Spears. Her ex, Kevin Federline, as you see here in the picture with her, is the one who released these tapes, and her sons are the ones who recorded them. So her sons are teenagers, and what am I trying to say here? So basically we're just going to go through and kind of break it down and look at, because there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this, and a lot of people who are backing Britney and saying, oh, this is not that big of a deal. And saying things like, if you're a parent, you've been there, you've done this. And, that's part of what I'm going to look at here is the comment sections in these videos, because I think one of the main components to this that makes people so quick to side with Britney is that there is this preconceived idea and notion in our society of, or not even preconceived notion, it's like mothers are put on a pedestal and they are seen in a certain light, especially in comparison to fathers. And that's kind of what I feel like is going on here with some of these people who are jumping so quick to support Britney and have her back and be like, oh, she's been through so much, blah, blah, blah. The mother's not always right, and it's okay to admit that someone is wrong and exhibiting toxic parenting skills. And I feel like in society, many societies, people have a hard time doing that because people look at, again, the mother as the nurturer and the one who's always there and everything like that, and especially the nurturing aspect. And it's like, not every mom is a nurturer. Just because you have kids and give birth doesn't make you a mom. Sorry. Hate to say it. A lot of women can have the ability to procreate and create, and reproduce. And then they abuse the fuck out of their kids, and I'm not saying that's what she's doing. She's not. And my point is, and just because they gave birth, that means that they're a mother, even though they're treating their children horrendously? No, it doesn't. So we need to get away from and get more honest with ourselves and more objective in these situations, especially when it is regarding a mother figure like this, in this particular situation, and also the meanings that we place upon things and how do I put this? The expectations we place, and because it creates this cognitive dissonance. That's literally what's happening for people, is like, no, Britney's not a bad mom, and because this can't possibly be true that a mother could fuck up. Why can't we just admit that? So that's where it's cognitive dissonance, because it's like people always want to side with the mother and, oh, let's give her some slack and whatever. And I don't know. Maybe these parents, these people in the comments are women and they can relate, and there's some remnant of truth in it for them, and it hits a soft spot, and your ego has a way of leading you to resist or fight back to like protect or defend your idea of an image. So in this case, the image of the mother. And that's kind of a lot of what I was seeing in the comments, like, oh, you know, this doesn't make you a bad mother because these people have done this too, and so what does that mean about them? What does that mean about mothers? Does that mean that mothers are shitty because, no, that doesn't mean mothers are shitty because they talk to their kids how Britney did here. It just means that some parents just need improvement in their parenting skills. So anyway, enough of this, enough of me rambling. Let's watch the tapes, and you guys can let me know what you think.
That I had to, they thought something was wrong with me because I had your boobs are poking out. You have
come in here when we're trying to go to bed, and then you just go and you
it's
say,
my house. If I forget something, then I know this is my house.
Okay, let's just stop right there. Yikes. First thing I want to point out, very clear boundary violation here going on. I don't care what age your kid is. I think maybe this is because a lot of these people are maybe more old school, and in the older generation, there was this thought that, you know, children should be, heard and not seen or something, or seen and not heard or something stupid like that. Some dumb shit that people from the older generation who are asleep came up with. Anyway, point of me saying that is, nowadays people are more evolved and understand that children actually have fucking feelings. God, who knew? And part of respecting the feelings and the space, personal space of your child, especially a teenager, is allowing them to have privacy. And one of those times for them to have privacy without you just randomly barging in is at bedtime, unless maybe you knock. But if your child says to you, like he did in the video, hey, you know, this is like an issue, like, why are you coming in here when we're sleeping? Her response to come back and be more aggressive because he asserted a boundary for the simple fact that he's her son and he's younger than her, I think people, again, have this ignorant, unhealthy perspective that, oh, you know, because it's her child, he should listen, and it's her house, so he should just go along with what she's saying. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. People, like, your children are humans too, they're individuals too, and just because you had them doesn't mean you own them. And they have a right to say, hey, you know what? Whoa, you barged into my room. It's late at night. What the fuck? And without having to risk feeling like you're going to aggressively override their boundary that you just set. I mean, again, we're also, one of the other things to look at here is these are teenage boys. They're teenagers. These are not kids, guys. These are teenagers. I don't know how old they are exactly. I don't really care. They're somewhere above 13. I think they're like 16, 15, something like that. That's old enough to where, I mean, even when you're younger than that, you have a right to have boundaries. But what I'm saying is, maybe if they were younger, it might be a little more understandable. But especially as teenagers, it's like, for her to say she wants to come in there and put lotion on his face because it's coarse. Okay, what if he doesn't want that? So again, boundary violation. Who gives a fuck if you think his face is coarse and you want to put lotion on it, lady? Again, just because he's your child does not mean you own him. You're being intrusive, you're violating boundaries. Is that abusive? No. But it is shitty parenting, and it could constitute as borderline emotional abuse. Yeah. And it's definitely a boundary violation, and it definitely points to mental health issues on her part. Does that mean she's a horrible person? No. A horrible parent? No. It means that clearly she's not understanding how you're supposed to set boundaries and what boundaries are appropriate and what type of space is appropriate to give teenage boys. And that's kind of the issue that I'm seeing here, is that when he tries to assert his boundary, instead of her just being like, yeah, you know what, I didn't even think about that, you're right, she gets pissed and gets aggressive and kind of gets in his face, which that part for sure, the body language, I do want to point that out. How do I put this? Getting in someone's face, or even like approaching them closer like how she did, and getting more riled up like that, that definitely is pretty aggressive, and to a kid could be scary. Is it abusive? Again, very much borderline abusive. Very much so borderline. But for sure, shitty parenting, not the healthiest parenting. Definitely not respecting your children's boundaries. And one of the things that I read in the comments, a lot of people saying is, oh my gosh, they need to respect their mother, and she's just teaching them how to respect her and shit like that. And it's like, again, wow, this just points to, I don't know if these are all people commenting that are like the older generation, but it's gotta be, because it's like, whoa, that's not actually healthy. And so whatever you were taught, whoever taught you that, oh, it's all about, you just have to respect the parent and it's not a two-way street, that's bullshit. It is a two-way street. The parent also has to respect the child. They're an individual. Just because you birthed them does not mean you fucking own them, like I said, or possess them, or everything they do. They have a right to be respected. And what I'm seeing here, he is not being disrespectful by very quietly and quite shakingly. I mean, he sounds timid and kind of afraid of her a little bit. Trying to reassert his boundary and basically just be like, why are you, The other thing I want to point out is the time of day this is. So this is at night too. So another red flag. There is something called sleep abuse, and I'm not saying that that's what this is, but, and I also don't know the context of, like, I don't know if he was fully asleep, I don't know, whatever, if she came in and, like, woke them up and did this. There's a lot of context missing that makes it hard for me to really analyze this, but it is a possibility. I mean, if they were already asleep and she was coming in there and waking them up, that kind of adds to the what am I trying to say? Unhealthy dynamic. Like, it makes it worse, kind of, I guess, if she's waking them up in the middle of their sleep or something to do stuff like this. Even if she's just coming in right after they turned off the lights or went to bed, still, if he didn't want it and he's stating that, it's not her job to get in his face and say, I am your mother and you need to listen to me. This is a teenage boy, and it's not like you're telling him that he can't go have sex with his girlfriend in the living room. I mean, give me a fucking break. He's asserting a boundary because you want to put lotion on his face, which is, again, fucking weird for you to want to do with a teenage boy. Boundary issues. Total boundary violation. If I had a parent that was doing that to me, I would feel very intruded upon, really. So, again, let's rewatch this real quick.
That I had to, they thought something was wrong with me because I had your boobs are poking out. You have
come in here when we're trying to go to bed, and then you just
also come in here when we're trying to go to bed. So apparently trying to go to bed. So they must have already been in there for a little bit. He sounds kind of sleepy, like he's been trying to go to sleep. So I don't know if she just, like, randomly came in the middle of the night. That's kind of what it sounds like. They had been in there trying to go to sleep. The other thing I wanted to point out was the things that she was saying prior to that about cysts and her boobs poking out. Again, any of you parents saying, oh man, I've had one of these moments. Wow, I'm really scared and concerned that you are talking like this or to your kids like this or in front of your kids like this, talking about your boobs and cysts and as a mother in front of teenage boys, really inappropriate. Huge boundary violation. And actually, yeah, no, it's just a huge boundary violation. And especially as a mother in front of teenage boys, how awkward for them to have to sit there and listen to that shit. Why would you put them in that position? Again, I'm just seeing so many boundary issues here.
Go and you
It's
say,
my house. If I forget something, then I know this is my.
It's my house if I forget something. Okay, that's entitled. Yeah, it is your house, but it's not your room. And yes, you brought these children into this world, but they didn't ask to be here. And so that means that you don't have a right to just barge into their room just because it's your house, okay? Because it's their room. And oh my goodness, they're human beings, they're individuals. Like, you don't have a right to just do that. And then how she came back like this.
House. If I want to come in here and give you lotion for your face because it is coarse, and all you tell me, no, it's fine, no.
Okay, so that part too, I just want to say, that's like mocking. You're mocking your child, which again is traumatizing and kind of like mean to do to a child. I would definitely constitute that as emotional abuse, for sure. That's you're mocking your child. And here's the thing, like, I also heard people, or read in the comments, people talking about, oh man, like people from different backgrounds and cultures talking about, man, if y'all think this is abuse, then you should see like what so-and-so from this background does, or women from this background or culture do. And, you know, that might be true or whatever, but there's different levels to it, I guess. And it's one thing to be stern and straightforward and blunt with your kids, but no matter what background or culture you're from, violating your kids' boundaries, overstepping your kids' boundaries, asserting way too much dominance over your kids as a parent is fucking wrong. It's wrong. So.
It's not fine. You all better start respecting. This is my house. If I want to come in here and give you lotion for your face because it is coarse, and all you tell me, no, it's fine. No, it's not fine.
No, it's not fine. Okay. So again, not listening to him, not respecting him. She's mocking his wants and needs when he's saying, no, my face is fine, I don't want that. She's saying, yeah, you do. And it's like, that's gaslighty and manipulative and weird. So again, you're imposing and forcing your own wants for your child onto them. Not healthy.
You all better start respecting me. Are we clear?
yeah.
And when Robin calls, and you're all, even Robin's a fucking kid. She goes,
I don't know who the fuck Robin is. I don't know if this is a stepmom or someone. I believe it's somebody that's maybe related to them. Either way, to be talking shit about a stepmom, another family member, even a family friend in front of your kids like this, it's just not appropriate. It's just, again, another boundary issue of like, this is not their problem. It's not their problem. Like, go take it up with Robin. Why the fuck are you saying this in front of your kids? It's an issue.
start respecting. It's my house. If I want to come in here and give you lotion for your face because it is coarse, and all you tell me, no, it's fine. No, it's not fine. You all better start respecting me. Are we clear?
Yeah.
And when Robin calls, and you're all, even Robin's a fucking kid. She goes, what have you been doing to your kids? You all need to start treating me like a woman with worth.
Oh, okay. That part right there. So again, to be telling your teenage boys that they need to treat you like a woman with worth is just, again, weird. They're not treating her as a woman with worth. Not based on this video. I don't know how they treat her otherwise. I can't say. But either way, that's still not really an appropriate thing to say to your kids. Oh, you got to treat me like I'm a woman with worth. I'm not sure a teenage boy even fully knows what the fuck that means. It's just not, she's not knowing how to talk to her kids. It's very clear. I get what she's trying to say. She wants to be respected, but the problem is she feels she's being disrespected, but she's really not. They're just asserting boundaries, which is healthy. It's actually very healthy for teenage boys to do this. Yeah, for any teenager, for any kid to do this. They're not being disrespectful. He simply said, hey, I don't need the lotion. He didn't say it in a rude way, anything like that. And that has nothing to do with her worth. That's weird that she's somehow equating him setting boundaries and not wanting lotion on his face and not wanting her to provide that for him as being related to her worth. It's like, that's weird. So like you're putting that on your kid that because they asserted a boundary, that somehow means they're not seeing your worth. And it's manipulative, and it's gonna fuck with your kid's head because it's like, huh? That doesn't mean that. What are you talking about? Oh my god. So anyway, there could be more context to this, but based on what I'm seeing, that's how I feel about it. Or not how I feel, but objectively, like, the facts about what's going on, essentially.
I am a woman, okay? Be nice to me. Do you understand?
Be nice to me, okay? It is not your kids, especially teenagers, job to be nice to you. The fact that you even expect that from your teenage kids points to your ineptness, if that's even a word, as a fucking parent. They're teenage boys. You really expect they're not going to be bratty sometimes, or that they're going to know how to... I mean, it's very self-centered for her to say that, like... Yeah, it's just kind of self-centered that she's expecting that. Not expecting that, but I should say even the fact that she's, again, thinking and saying this is manipulative. She's saying that he's not being nice, or she's saying, be nice to me. Well, dude, like, he's not being nice to you by saying he doesn't want lotion on his face. He's setting a boundary, and you are overreacting inappropriately. And somehow thinking that means that he's not being nice. It's just, it's nuts. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm for lack of a better word, it's really unhealthy. She has an issue with boundaries.
Yeah.
Have you lost your f***ing mind?
Here's the next one, in the car. Here we go.
That means you... Have you lost your f***ing mind? I do care, but I'm shocked as f*** with you. And I don't know what to do. And I'm scared of you because you're weird, because you're going through puberty. I don't know what to say. But I do care more than you know.
You say I'm
but
weird.
Don't be... My little body can't handle all of that. There's like sometimes I just don't even know what to say with you. I was in shock. And I do care.
No, you don't.
So, for example, him saying, no, you don't, like, people were commenting, like, oh my gosh, these kids are so manipulative, and it's like, give me a fucking break. You've never met a teenager, like, every teenager in the world says that to their parent. No, you don't care. Typical teenager that feels like nobody understands them or cares. And that means he's manipulative? No, again, inappropriate parenting skills, and that she called him weird. I get what she was trying to say, but it's like... Anyway.
If you really cared, you wouldn't take my phone away for literally...
I was in shock in the store when I looked down, and Jaden, how are you so cool about that? Your brother being with Bear's...
Okay, let me just point something out. This is actually triangulating, and I didn't think about that. I'm pretty sure this constitutes as triangulating. We'll look into this in a second. But that is when you pull an additional third party into the conversation, to like pit them against the other person. So why is she saying this to him? Oh, why weren't you shocked? Or why didn't you say something? As if, I mean, okay, the first thing I want to point out is she took away his phone because he wasn't wearing shoes in the store. I agree, it's not an appropriate punishment. first off, there shouldn't really be a punishment. Why did you not notice before you guys left the house that he wasn't wearing shoes? So that's your fault, I guess, for not noticing that sooner. He's a teenage boy. On top of it, who really gives a fuck? Who cares? He's not wearing shoes. Why would you take away his phone for that? He's a teenage boy. What is that doing? What harm is that doing? You're rich as fuck. Buy him a pair of shoes at the store. Why the hell would you take away his phone? That's insane. I mean, not insane, but it's again, overreacting. And then it's like she's trying to justify it here by saying, well, I was in shock. And it's like, okay, but that doesn't excuse you overreacting in that way. You were in shock and overreacted over something small. And now you're trying to justify it by pulling in your other son and trying to make him feel bad for whatever reason for not... Let's hear what she said again in this part.
If you really cared, you wouldn't take my phone away for literally...
I was in shock in the store when I looked down, and Jaden, how are you so cool about that? Your brother being with Bear's big feet, size 13 now?
Well, he's my brother.
And all the more. Exposed? His feet, your blood, in an ice cream shop in Alaska weather? Don't you think that's a little odd?
Okay. Oh my god, there's so many things. So she's trying to justify by, like, guilting and, yeah, making the, you know, his brother feel like, well, why didn't you think this was odd? And, like, let me just go back. There was a lot in this.
If you really cared, you wouldn't take my phone away for literally...
I was in shock in the store when I looked down, and Jaden, how are you so cool about that? Your brother being with Bear's big feet, size 13 now?
Well, he's my brother.
How are you so cool about that? Why should he care? Why should he care? I don't get it. Like, why is this your son's responsibility to give a shit? Why are you dragging him into this issue? It's very odd. It's like, yeah.
And all the more. Exposed? His feet, your blood, in an ice cream shop in Alaska weather? Don't you think that's a little odd?
No.
Yeah, I think your phone should be gone.
Okay.
Yeah, for a very long time.
Yeah, for not wearing shoes.
Yeah.
She even said that. And yeah, he's being bratty. Yeah, all that dumb shit. But yeah, and it is bratty. It does come off that way for sure. But again, we're talking about teenage boys, and I hate to say it, but he's right. He is right. Like, you're gonna punish me for not wearing shoes. Okay, yeah, that makes sense to take away my phone. I get why he's doing that, because, you know, maybe he's put up with this a lot with her, and it is kind of a ridiculous response. It doesn't fit. The punishment doesn't fit the crime.
Yeah, my phone's just gonna be taken away forever. Because you know what, Jaden? Mom decides to take it away for me not wearing shoes.
Jaden? Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. Jaden obviously thinks
Are
that's...
you wanting attention, baby? Is that why you're saying you
Well,
can't
apparently, I wanted to do that in the first place, but you keep interrupting every sentence I say, so what I seem like in my mind, I think you just care about yourself because you won't let us speak one word, and you won't let us go anywhere we want to go.
I want to hear what you have to say. I'm listening.
Well, I forget, because you interrupt me, and then I forgot what I'm going to say.
Which is true. I mean, if you did just hear, she did just try to interrupt multiple times while he was speaking. And we'll just go through it again. And, yeah.
Jaden? Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. Jaden obviously thinks
Are
that's...
you wanting attention, baby? Is that why you're saying you
Well,
can't
apparently, I wanted to do that in the first place, but you keep interrupting every sentence I say, so what I seem like in my
Right there, she just tried to interrupt once.
mind, I think you just care about yourself because you won't let us speak one word, and you won't let us go anywhere we want.
She just interrupted again, second time.
I want to hear what you have to say. I'm listening.
Well, I forget, because you interrupt me, and then I forgot what I'm going to say. That's
Do
how
you
life...
want to skate? Is that what you're doing?
No, I
And then she just kind of...
don't know how, and I didn't want to go to that place, and we
Do you know
never agreed to it.
roller skate? I mean, ice.
Yep, she interrupts every time, so he's right. So again, anybody claiming, like, that kid was not bratty at all, and he was literally just assertive and mature in his approach to his mom, and he was basically saying, that he was just calling her out for her behavior. Hey, you keep interrupting me. I feel like I can't speak up for myself. You just kind of keep speaking and dragging me into this, which is true.
Skating, baby, is easier than roller skating.
Why are we
Roller
gonna...
skating is actually harder because the grips on the ground are like raw, like rock, like that. It's smooth on ice. And ice is like smooth, like your skateboard.
Yeah, the only other thing I wanted to look up was the triangulation, and then that'll be it. Let me know what you all think in the comments below regarding this video. Do you think this constitutes as abuse or emotional abuse, or do you think it's just harsh, shitty parenting, or what? What do you think? Do you not think that at all? So triangulation is a method used to increase, no, triangulation in psychology, please. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so yes, this indeed was triangulation that Britney Spears was using, which people is not healthy parenting. In fact, it's manipulative and it is a red flag and a sign of narcissism. Not saying she is, but definitely a huge red flag, and especially to do it with your children. So triangulation is a psychological manipulation tactic used when one member of a two-person conflict pulls in a third person in order to better control the situation. That is what we saw Britney do there. She pulled in her other son, Jalen or Jaden or whatever the hell his name is, and and tried to, because basically her other son was kind of, how do I put this, asserting himself, and she, probably felt like she couldn't control him or the situation, so then she pulls in his brother to be like, well, why didn't you say anything, or what do you think, to kind of like deflect and stuff like that, because she felt like she was not winning or something along those lines. It's problematic because the third person is being exploited in an attempt to manipulate and sometimes emotionally abuse the other person within the conflict. So yeah, she was like trying to bring him in to it. It is an unhealthy strategy that can generate toxicity and additional unnecessary negativity in relationships of all kinds. Yep. All right. That's it.